While Crimean authorities were asking Moscow for help, the leader of Ukrainian Nationalist group Right Sector has reached out for help to one of the world's most notorious terrorists. On a social network, he asked Doko Umarov to step up attacks against Russia. Doko Umarov is the leader of the Chechen Islamist movement and an international terrorist, basically Russia's Osama bin Laden. He was the mastermind of several deadly attacks on civilians in Russia, including the bombings of Moscow's Domodedovo airport and metro system, which took the lives of hundreds of people. Doko Umarov wants to create an Islamic state in southern Russia ruled by Sharia law. Russia's foreign ministry responded to the appeal to the Chechen militant by pointing out the radical nature of many of those now in power in Ukraine. The leader of the Ukrainian Nationalist claimed his page, where the message was posted, had been hacked. And earlier we spoke to journalist Neil Clark, who says that such an appeal would be in line with the anti-Russian attitude of right-wing groups in Ukraine.
If we think back to the 1990s, Julia, we had a lot of Ukrainian hardcore neo-Nazis travelling out to Chechnya to fight in the so-called war for separatism from Russia. So there's always been this link for the last 20 years or so between the most sort of hard-right extremist factions in Ukraine and the Islamist cause in Chechnya, the radical Islamist cause. So this is an alliance that goes back quite a long way, really. And of course, there's a third strand to this alliance, which is the neoconservatives in the West. What unites the neoconservatives in the West with Ukrainian neo-Nazis and radical Islamists in Chechnya is, of course, their hatred for Russia. They will do anything, however extreme, to get at Russia. And so I think this Ukrainian crisis is sort of reminding us once again this sort of axis of evil that's ranged against Russia that combines neoconservatives in Washington and in Britain and in France and elsewhere with radical neo-Nazis in the Ukraine and radical Islamists in Chechnya. This really is a kind of alliance that is targeting Russia. And this is just a reminder, really.
At the same time, the Right Sector group denied appealing to Umarov, saying its website was hacked. Is that some kind of damage control now, then?
Oh, absolutely. I think that this has become rather embarrassing for the West, really, because the fact is that they've used the far right to get their people in power in Kiev. And now these sort of statements are coming out. Now the extremism is there for everybody to see. They're in complete denial. And I think that the Right Sector is trying to sort of back down from this now, but it's all there. I mean, we know that they've got they've had links with Chechen radicals. We know that they are a radical far-right neo-Nazi group, and now they're trying to sort of say that it wasn't them and the website was hacked. It doesn't wash, I'm afraid. I think we know this extremism is there. It's there for everybody to see. And this anti-Russian obsession from the Western elites is costing us all dear. It's very dangerous. It could provoke, who knows, war perhaps. And until the Western elites drop this, and drop this anti-Russian obsession, this neoconservative influenced obsession with Russia and demonising Russia, then I'm afraid we're only going to get more chaos in the next few weeks and months.
And apparently it's not just the notorious Chechen terrorists that the nationalists in Ukraine have appealed for help to. Russian border guards have detained an activist who took part in riots in the Ukrainian capital, and he claims there were many foreigners fighting on Kiev streets.
There were many foreigners at Maidan. I can even give you rough numbers. There were about 60 Americans who were still there. There were also Germans, 30 to 40 of them. Poles and Turks too, although I'm not sure how many. But the Americans were by far the most active. There were also misfits from all over Ukraine. People without jobs, without education. They came because they knew there was anarchy. You can do anything and no one can stop you. There were drugs, alcohol, violence. It attracted them.